What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Havoc Sports Podcast. Today is a very exciting day. We are a couple days out from the NFL draft. So, with that, we're bringing you our final mock draft.
Yeah, it's the final one, and I think next week, what is it, Thursday or Friday?
Thursday,
Thursday.
28th.
Yep, it starts on Thursday, and I think a lot of answers or a lot of questions are going to be answered that day, and I don't think you're going to know anymore until that day comes. So, final mock draft, we're excited for it. We're excited to see where both of our teams are going to
I was
go.
going to say, it's really exciting for us because
both top 10.
Yeah, we get to go to bed early.
Yeah.
I don't know why they always do it on a Thursday, late night, but
it doesn't really make much sense.
when your team sucks,
Who cares?
you're only up or watching it until like 8:30. So
Yeah. But we did another alternating pick mock draft. So Colton got the odds and I got the evens.
Yeah.
So we'll keep going back and forth. I think once we hit the top, we're going to touch on the top 15. And then once after that, we're just going to kind of rattle some names off.
Rolling.
Yep. And, touch on some of the players that we think could still make a big impact. But let's get it started.
Yeah, so the draft really starts, I think, at pick 2. So there's not much to say here. I think everybody has this chalked in. Titans taking Cam Ward first overall. You address some spots in free agency. You didn't really address quarterback when there was a couple positions available for it. You kind of left it open. He's out there tweeting. He's out there putting remarks up that Treylon Burks and Calvin Ridley are top 4 receivers in the league.
Tyjae Spears and Tony Pollard are top 5 running backs in the league.
Yeah, I mean, he knows, everybody knows, you might as well just, the deal's honestly, even though they're not allowed to, it's probably already signed.
Yeah.
You might as well just go ahead and chalk it in.
Right. And so I think Titans, do I think that they reach at number 1? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think they could take Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter and maybe chalk it up till next season for a quarterback or later in the rounds. But getting Cam Ward at 1 overall, it is what it is. Good luck to their division. I think, you now you have Anthony Richardson, C.J. Stroud, Cam Ward, and Trevor Lawrence.
How sight is C.J. Stroud?
Yeah.
I mean, the
rest are nobody.
The AFC South is definitely back to being trash. That's for sure.
But, yep. Number 2, the Browns. I think here they do need a quarterback. They don't want to reach on a quarterback, so they go with the best player possible, and that is Abdul Carter. In my personal opinion, Abdul Carter is the best player in this draft. Taking him at 2, you match him up with Myles Garrett. You signed him. Not much really to say on that. That's probably going to be the nastiest 1-2 combo in the NFL if Abdul Carter works out. So, Browns at number 2, taking Abdul Carter, setting their defense. I would see them maybe touching on Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
Well, touching somewhere on quarterback. I don't know.
I think, too, people forget that Abdul Carter, this was his first year at the defensive end position. This was his first true year solely there. He played some linebacker and then touched a little bit on the line, but this was the first year that they gave him the full reins of just go. And to come out and be able to say, yeah, that's the best player at that position in his first year doing it, it shows you the type of special player that he is. And like you said, pairing him up with Myles Garrett, who's a little bit older but can show him the ropes of how it works, and Myles Garrett's still very good. Let's not get that mixed up. Like you said, they can look at Kirk Cousins, or there is the option, as much as it sucks, you have Kenny Pickett, tank it a year, go get a quarterback. Like you said, the quarterback class is going to be better next year. It's really not that good this year. So if you're going to go ahead and tank, just continue to build young.
Yeah.
You got Myles Garrett for a while, and get a quarterback you truly want.
Yeah, and I think Jerry Jeudy's already kind of prospering better there than he was at Denver, and their offense really isn't too good either, to be honest. So we'll see how it works out for Cleveland. Taking the best player possible is always probably your best bet, but they need their offense restructured.
Pick 3. Giants. I think you're hoping as a Giants fan that by some miracle the Titans take Abdul Carter, because it's not 100%. It's just 99%. So there is the 1% chance, and I do think that the Browns would go Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter if Abdul's not available. Giants don't reach. I think this will make most Giants fans happy. You're going to take Travis Hunter. You're going to take the best player available here. You need help all around. It's not just quarterback. You sign Russell Wilson on a 1-year deal that will manage you to the next draft. You don't have to get a quarterback in the first round here.
Right.
You don't have to do it. So why do it? When you can get immediate impact, you need corner, bad, you're getting corner. Malik Neighbors is a great receiver. Get him some help in the red zone. Travis Hunter is not going to play both ways all the time, but you can play him in the red zone on offense. He's obviously shown that he's very good as a receiver and as a corner. But you're going to primarily play him as a corner.
100%.
And it's a position that is definitely needed for the Giants.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and the thing is with the Giants is they need a lot of positions, and
Oh, yeah.
they can always having their third pick in the draft. If Jackson Dart or Tyler Shock's there in the second round, you can
Might
always
as well take a shot.
Yeah, you could always shoot for the roof and start them, and hopefully get something good. You know what I mean? So, definitely taking it's the same thing with the Browns. They're taking the best player available.
Yep.
It's helping them out either way. So yeah, the Giants taking Travis Hunter at 3, not a bad pick. Number 4, we had the Patriots. I have them getting trading their pick down. Right now, they already have your 2 players, your best available players already drafted.
Yep.
They're needing a lot of things right now. You could take an offensive tackle here, but I think you could still get an offensive tackle later in the round. That could change your franchise around at that position. So I have the Saints trading up to get Shedeur Sanders, the Colorado quarterback, probably the most profiled quarterback. The media loves Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah.
But the Saints, with the recent news, Derek Carr's hurt. He's probably going to miss the rest of the season. That leaves them, are we going to start Ian Book? What are we, Spencer Rattler, what are we going to do here?
Yeah.
And I think getting Shedeur Sanders, trading up to 4 to get him, you're trading him up a lot, and you're saying, like, this is our franchise guy. But, 6 foot, just like Drew Brees.
He's not bad.
He's not bad with the right coaching. You got a new coaching staff in there now. With the right coaching, if you got a good quarterback coach, you got a good offensive coordinator, he can be very well.
Yeah.
But I think for him to take that step, you got to have more than Chris Olave and who plays half the games. And
rumored to be traded soon.
And I don't even know who else is on their offense besides Alvin Kamara.
Shaheed, a good outside threat.
Yeah.
But yeah, as a Patriots fan, you look at this and you're like, oh my gosh, we can get whichever offensive tackle we want. The issue is that none of these offensive tackles should be going in the top 5. Will Campbell's the best one, and
Mimbo's a project.
Mimbo's up there. Mimbo's probably going to go first, in my opinion, just because he's got the true length of a tackle. But they're not top 5 talents. They're all very good, just not top 5. So when you know that, why not trade and get some value? With the quarterback on the board, you can move down. You're not moving down far. We have them moving down to 9. That's nothing crazy. You can definitely get line there. So good trade. You build up picks, get the Saints happy. You're happy with it. And then looks like this one, moving on to number 5, Jaguars. This has been another chalk it.
Yeah.
Mason Graham, defensive tackle, Michigan. This is like the one position in free agency they didn't address, and then their GM came out and said, we have to have spots for rookies to be able to play, so we're not going to address every position. And the gaping hole that wasn't addressed that they desperately needed was defensive tackle.
Yeah.
This is a Mason Graham pick, and that you can make the argument that between Abdul Carter, Travis Hunter, Mason Graham, whichever one you want to say is the best defensive player, you can make that argument, and I feel like you can stand on that pretty firmly.
Yeah, Mason Graham's a beast. There's a couple other defensive tackle prospects in here that are definitely beasts as well. Walter Nolan, and then There's another one, I think Kenneth Grant from Michigan as well. Those guys are going to go in the first round as well. But Jacksonville definitely getting Mason Graham to go with a couple of those other talented guys they have on the front line is a good pick. They need to figure out their offense, though. They got two guys, that's it. They need a tight end, too. Tyler Warren wouldn't be a bad pick for him here, too, if they could find a spot to trade back. I'd see the Bears even want Mason Graham to the point where they would be like, hey, we'll give you our 10th and, a third-round pick for your 5th, and, you can have 10. You know what I mean? And then they can go have Tyler Warren, because they did Evan Ingram. I think he went away, didn't he not?
I believe so.
I think did he retire?
I don't know, but I think he definitely moved.
Yeah, he moved somewhere.
Because, he had an off year last year.
Yeah.
I mean, that entire team.
It was pretty bad. But Mason Graham at 5, definitely a good pick for the Jags. At 6, the Raiders, this is where this is a controversy pick. I got Ashton Jonty going here. They got nobody on offense. They got Brock Bowers. The rest, you could say they got Jacoby Myers.
They got one. Yeah, they got 2 people, period.
Yeah.
On both sides.
Getting Ashton Jonty, and then the rest of the draft, building your offensive line for Geno.
Yeah.
I think this is your best bet.
That's what I was going to say. You have Geno.
Yeah, you have Geno. He can throw the ball if he has time.
Yeah, he's a good manager.
The Raiders got 1 to 2 positions good on the O-line. You get Ashton Jonty. He doesn't need a good O-line, but he needs a decent O-line. You go out there, you draft a couple pieces, maybe 3rd, 4th round, 2nd round, maybe get a wide receiver.
This is the 2017 Tennessee Titans all over again.
Yeah.
Give him the ball and get out of the way.
Yeah.
You have an amazing player
Play action.
in Brock Bowers.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be fine.
He can block, too.
Jacoby is he's not a wide receiver 1, but that's where he's going to play. But he's a very, very serviceable wide receiver 2. Very serviceable. So you don't have a terrible offense. Nothing great, nothing to be super ecstatic about, but you have a manageable offense, especially if you pick up Genty. And, your defense needs a lot of help too, but why not build the more exciting part? Especially when you have a player like that who definitely could be the best player in the draft.
Yeah, he definitely could if he...
And you're getting him at 6.
Yeah. And I think with Ashton Jonty, you don't need any wide receivers.
No.
You like you said, give him the ball, get out of the way.
Yep.
So,
the only thing you need in the future is offensive line.
Yeah, the Raiders getting that. I think they'd definitely be ecstatic because they don't have, many players around besides Brock Bowers. So, play action pass to Brock Bowers. Run the ball to Ashton Jonty. There's your offense.
Yeah. Number 7, you got Jets. Armin Mimbu. You need line, go get a line. This dude definitely rose his stock in the draft. This is a great player, someone that you're going to have a long time. You can stick him at the left tackle spot and not worry about it.
Yeah.
He definitely came out during the draft, though, and proved his worth for sure. But
and I think the thing is with Armin Mimbu is I didn't hear much about him until about the draft combine, and all these guys were saying, "Holy cow, look at this guy! 6'6" and athletic as heck, and he's all of a sudden he's breaking. I think he broke the record for his fastest lineman or something like that with his size. So having him at your tackle, you need a quarterback. I mean, I think Justin Fields is going to be great, but I think. You need someone athletic enough to be able to get the outside for Justin Fields. So that's definitely big for the Jets to be able to have, because Justin Fields has never had a good O-line wherever he's been at.
Yeah, he's definitely a solid one. Moving on to pick 8.
Yeah, pick 8. I mean, you have the Panthers last year. They didn't have a first-round pick. They had the Bears taking Caleb Williams. So they need a couple young players that can, contribute some Bryce Young time. I would say they need Teddy McMillan. I mean, he is a high point wide receiver. Yeah. He is a guy, you have Adam Thielen. You thought you were going to have Deontay Johnson there. That was going to be decent. Didn't work out. So you have Adam Thielen, and the rest are nobodies.
Did work out. Then they traded him after his 2 big games.
Yeah.
But you have Xavier Legette. Not terrible, not
I
terrible.
did forget about Xavier
but
Legette. He's not very good.
you need to continue to build that offense. Bryce Young's starting to finally get that flow, get
You
that
could
feeling.
go offensive line too. I feel like here, there's just so many spaces for the Panthers right now
Yeah.
to the point where I was like, if you want to be able to at least try to win games, you should try to be scoring at least 35 points because
Yeah.
their defense is, they got younger players on their defense, but their offensive line, and their wide receivers, they just need help.
Yeah, and they have a young guy in Legette, but Adam Thielen's not getting any younger. And after those two, if you're not a Panthers fan, you probably can't name me another one.
And they got Chuba Hubbard, you know what I mean? And
Yeah,
he's been running the ball.
He wasn't bad last year.
He's been running the ball successfully for them. So they have established a run game a little bit, but like I said, having Teddy McMillan to be able to have that play action pass, kind of like a Titans offense back with Derrick Henry, it would be huge for him.
Yeah. Pick 9, Saints. Trade it away. Patriots got this pick now. Now you take Will Campbell. Now you go and get tackle. I'm not going to lie. If you're a Patriots fan listening to this, you're probably not going to enjoy this draft from the excitement standpoint. But when we get into the actual season, you'll enjoy it for the value that's there. But for pick 9 right now, you're going to take Will Campbell. This is someone that the Patriots have been very confident can definitely play tackle. They're one of the few teams that truly believe he can play tackle. Now, whether that's left or right, again, we'll get into it a little bit later in discussion, but you're addressing one of the biggest needs. Drake May needs time to throw the ball.
Yeah, he does.
Desperately. That man is
You can only
playing
cook
like
so
Josh
much.
Allen with no offensive line.
Yeah. You can only cook so much with no offensive line, and that's the thing is
Yeah.
getting Will Campbell under blindside. That's huge.
Yeah,
You know
and
what I mean?
I know that you look at this and you're like, man, I would love a receiver. The receiver's not here.
No.
It's not here.
It's maybe next receiver's probably mid-round.
Yeah, and so at this spot, yeah, it's not exciting, but it's something that's going to help Drake May way more, I think, than a wide receiver will right now.
Absolutely. And then at pick 10, we have the Bears.
Ew.
So the Bears, you just lost your offensive tackle. Patriots took him at 9. Armin Membu's gone, another tackle. Your running back, everybody thinks that we need a running back. You need 2 dominant running backs.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
gone. So what do? In Bear tradition, you beef up your defense, and that is get another corner because your second-round pick a couple years ago stinks. Okay, so we have Kyler Gordon at nickel, who we made him the highest-paid nickel slot or nickel corner or slot corner for some ungodly reason. He can't play half the season, but we made him the highest-paid corner. Slot corner, that is. He's definitely not paid. Who just got paid Texans-wise? Derek Stingley?
Yeah,
He got paid.
He got paid, but he had a good season
Yeah,
this year. He had a
but,
real good season.
You take Will Johnson, the DB from Michigan, who I think, just like with Colton said, there's a couple guys here on defensively who's could definitely be those top guys and have that defensive rookie of the year, and this is one of them. I think we kind of forgot about him because his team wasn't too good last year.
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like the media also just kind of lost his name in the dirt.
But this is a Sauce Gardner type of guy.
It's the guy we were talking about originally at pick 5 to Jaguars before he locked in Mason Graham.
Yeah, 100%. So I think having Will Johnson there at 10, it's like a best player available. You could go Tyler Warren here. I don't think we need a tight end. Cole Kmet is on our team. He is perfectly fine. So having Will Johnson there with Jalen Johnson, the Johnson boys, that sounds nasty. So, pick 10, Will Johnson. Moving on to 11 with the 49ers.
49ers, this is heartbreaking. You just lost Ward. You want Will Johnson at 11. You don't get him in this draft. Maybe you do next Thursday or this coming Thursday. You're not getting him today in ours. This could be a trade down spot if you're not going to get corner. Consideration was also defensive line, but a lot of linebackers / edges were still available here, and you just lost Greenlaw. So I went ahead and gave them Jalen Walker, who is a little bit more of raw talent, I would say, than being more of, a well-defined machine, but this is someone that you can build into your frame and how you want him to look.
Yeah, he's an absolute monster anywhere you put him on the field. He makes plays.
Yeah. This guy's incredible. I think it's not the pick that you want for immediate team need, but this guy's going to be an animal for you in the future for sure. In that defense, 49ers have been known for their defense forever now, it feels like. So why not continue to build that up?
100%. And I think with them is you're trying to see what Brandon Ayuk is going to put up for you. You know what I mean? He's coming off injury. You got Ricky Pursuell. Did they get rid of Brandon Ayuk? They still got Brandon Ayuk. They got rid of Debo,
Debo's
right?
Gone.
Yeah, Debo's gone.
I don't know where he went.
Debo, he went to the Commanders.
Oh, right.
But beefing up your line, beefing up your defense. You're gonna have to do something here. Brock Purdy. I think they just signed Brock Purdy to a contract. Or I think he might be coming up for contract. Either or, you're going to have to pay a good amount of money for that. They kind of ran into some financial issues, so it's your time to start building through the draft. Why not do it with the linebacker to start it out with? Moving on to 12 with the Cowboys, they need someone else than CeeDee Lamb to catch the ball. So why not get somebody a little small, little quick? He could be a deep slot corner or a deep slot wide receiver for you, Luther Burden. This guy's amazing. He kind of played a lower level talent.
Got speed.
He's got speed, but he doesn't have the high point ability like Teddy McMillan does. His separation ability's there. I just think he needs to be able to catch the ball with his hands. You know what I mean? He's always he's getting the breadbasket
Bringing
throws.
It in. Yep.
You know what I mean? So he's gonna have. I hope he's able to do that. But having someone else than CeeDee Lamb for Dak Prescott to throw the ball to is massive for the Cowboys offense. And you got two running backs now in Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders. But you got one running back that's not bad. I think you still invest in a running back in the second round. Maybe see if you can get Caleb Johnson or something like that. Whoever's there, maybe a Ohio State running back. But invest in the offense here. Maybe a couple of line and running back after this. But definitely a good pick for him.
I still think that if Ash Jeanty doesn't go 6, you could see Dallas trade up. Like you said, they addressed running back, but when they were at their best was when Ezekiel Elliott was still primed and Dak didn't have to throw a football 50 times a game.
Yeah.
Now, you're still planning on this. With Jeanty gone, you're looking at it like Dak has to throw. Dak was decent when he had Brandon Cooks and he had multiple other receivers outside of CD. This is someone that is you look at him and he is going to be a very good wide receiver too. That's just kind of where I see him being in his career. Nothing against the guy. If he blows out my expectations, awesome. Good for him. All right. I'm a nobody doing a podcast, so to speak. So I hope that he does. And again, he's just an explosive player, gets that outside. He would complement CD very, very well.
100%.
I feel like I keep having the chalk ends.
Mm-hmm.
Dolphins desperately need safety. And Malachi Starks. This guy's phenomenal. This dude's insane. Watch film on this guy because you're going to be paired with him, so you might as well go ahead and get used to him now. He's just a ball hawk.
He's a ball hawk. He's quick. He's got size. He's got, everything for a safety. Yeah, and this is, like you said, another one. Chalk it up and lock it in.
You just lost Javon Holland. Yeah. You let him go, so it just pair him. Why not?
And I think I have the next one as well with the Colts.
Pretty much a lock.
This is the best case scenario if you're an Indianapolis Colts fan is for Tyler Warren to fall to you at 14.
Yeah.
You guys have needed a tight end and someone to help your quarterback, get some pressure off your quarterback for a long time. And this guy is everything you guys need. And I remember when they had Doyle, whoever he was, who had a big beard.
Jack Doyle.
Yeah. When they had him, this guy is way better than that.
Well, they've had Mo Alley Cox for...
Yeah, he's bad.
Feels like he was there before me.
Yeah, he's bad. But getting Tyler Warren here at 14 is a dream come true for you guys. He's going to help relieve some pressure off Anthony Richardson. Hopefully he can play well. And, that's pick 14 for you.
The last pick before we start ripping them. Falcons. I might get some heat for this one. But this guy, if you go watch this guy and look at his stats. Falcons... You've needed edge, it feels like, since I was born in 2000. that you have for some reason avoided like it is COVID-19. Like I don't get why. Go get Mike Green. He's from Marshall. It doesn't sound like a necessarily sexy pick for all the edges out there. This guy is mind-blowing at what he can do. And I know he didn't play high in competition, but when you watch film, talent is talent. And like you can tell when someone is 10 times better than the rest of the people on the field, and that is where Mike Green falls into.
Yeah, 100%. And I think, it takes skill to lead the college, football league in sacks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like this guy, he was getting after the quarterback.
Yeah, this guy is
and it was
nasty.
And it was even during the Senior Bowl when he was playing actual competition. I mean, he was just eating guys up. He was eating their lunch.
Dude, it's like you just look and you're like, okay, that's like easily best player on the field.
Yeah, it comes from Marshall.
And it never stopped. You never stop saying it.
Yeah, it comes from Marshall. He's going to be hungry to get to the league. He's going to be hungry to prove his spot. And I think it's a great pick for a team that's hungry in a weak division.
Throw away Judon.
Yeah.
No offense to Judon, but
Facts.
you need edge, a good young edge, not a half a season fix.
Right. Yeah, 100%. And Mike Green, he's got a lot in the tank too.
Yeah, he does.
You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I think at 15, the Falcons are pretty ecstatic to get Mike Green. I don't understand. I think we both can agree on this. We don't understand the hype on Shamar Stewart going so high. I think Shamar Stewart should be a 20 to 32 pick. He had not much production. You could say, his size and all that stuff, his quickness, I don't care.
Yeah.
He can't get to the quarterback. He's not going to be good. It's that simple. But 15 Falcons, Mike Green, perfect fit for the Falcons. But let's start rambling off some names. So at 16, we're probably going to go 16 to 22 here.
Yeah.
16 to 22, we got the Cardinals, Bengals, Seahawks, Buccaneers, Broncos, Steelers, and Chargers.
Yep.
Let's start with the Cardinals and Bengals and Seahawks.
Yeah, so you got Josh Simmons at 16, tackle, Ohio State. You got Shamir Stewart, edge, Texas A&M. Walter Nolan, defensive tackle, Ole Miss.
I think that Walter Nolan guy is going to be something special. I think he himself, if he didn't have that down year last year, not this year, but that down year last year, I think he would have been special and probably up here with Mason Graham. But, having a little bit of struggles off the field and a down season last year, finds himself still in the first round. But I think with the Seahawks getting Byron, I think they got like a Murphy last year.
Yeah, Byron Murphy.
Yeah, they got him last year.
Keep building it.
Keep building that defensive line.
Yeah.
Keep building that defensive line. But we got the Bucks, the Broncos, and the Steelers and Chargers. We got a couple here that I'm like, man, there's a couple guys here that can change a franchise. You know what I mean? I mean, you got Jihad Campbell with the Bucks at 19, Amarian Hampton with the Broncos at 20, Kenneth Grant, defensive tackle at Steelers at 21, and then Colston Loveland goes to his coach at the Chargers at 22, and he is one of those guys that he's going to be a good blocking type. He's kind of like a George Kittle type of guy.
Yeah, and I think, too, one of the surprising things, at least the thing that stood out to our draft compared to a lot of others, is Amarian Hampton going in the first round, and it's nothing against his talent, but outside of Genty, a lot of people don't have running backs going in the first round. And honestly, I think running back's a pretty decent need, and I think at least one more will go because there is such a high need. And there's a lot of good running backs in this draft this year. I definitely think he's someone that has pushed his name in the conversation. I don't see him going any higher than
20.
I could see him going, I would say 20 because I could see him going to the Steelers.
Yeah, and I could see him go. Oh yeah, the Steelers need a running back.
Just lost Najee. Yeah. You have,
or the Cowboys couldn't even trade down.
Yeah,
to like the 18, 19 area.
Yeah, so there's definitely potential for him to go in the first round, and rightfully so. Like I said, there's so many running backs in the league this year, coming to the league that have earned a first round spot. But when there's so many of you, a lot of teams feel like they can just wait a little bit.
But you look at his run after contact and his ability to catch the ball in an open space. Hampton, if Johnsey wasn't here, I think Hampton could even go, top 15. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, it just seems so wrong to have two running backs go in the top 15 in this day and age. But I think people are going to start changing their opinion when John T gets in the league and starts changing that team around. They see Saquon, even though the Eagles were a dominant team before, Saquon comes
Yeah.
to the team and they just steamroll everybody on the running side of the game and win games. So I think this running back position is going to be a little bit more reevaluated once we see these youngin guys and this, and Saquon and all those guys start changing their franchises around to the point it's like, run the ball and you're going to win games.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
So picks 23 through 27. Packers at 23, Vikings 24, Texans 25, Rams 26, Ravens 27. If it's your favorite team, you know where they're picking. Packers taking Michael Williams, edge from Georgia. Vikings taking Nick Emanwari, safety from South Carolina. Texans taking Tyler Booker, most likely a guard from Alabama. Rams taking Maxwell Harrison, corner from Kentucky, and the Ravens taking James Pierce Jr., edge from Tennessee.
yeah, the guy that was supposed to go number 2 or 3 at the beginning of the season is going at 27 now. That's weird.
Parent attitude / locker room problems can do a lot to you.
Yeah, but I like that Vikings pick. That Vikings pick is quite nasty. Nick Emanwari or whatever his name is. I seen his stats. He's a boom.
Yeah,
dude.
he's definitely put his name up there too. Like Malachi is number 1, but the gap's not that big between the two of them.
And he's played competition.
Yeah, so if you can get him at 24, I think you're very excited as a Vikings fan. You desperately need some defensive help.
Yeah, you got rid of you lost Cam Bynum. Obviously, the Colts picked him up. You have Harrison Smith, who's getting old. So getting somebody in there working with a veteran who's already got the size, who's already got the ball hawking skills, who's already got the ability to step into the box and give a boomstick to a wide receiver on a screen. He's there. So having that in the NFC in our conference North is going to be scary. But definitely a good pick. Michael Williams from Georgia, he's going to be a nasty one too. I think a lot of people had him in the top 15 area.
Yeah.
But I think personally who do we have there linebacker wise up there?
We had Jalen Walker.
Yeah, and
project.
I think he's going to be a lot better than Michael Williams. I think Michael Williams is more of an edge dominant guy. But those guys there, I think Maxwell Harrison's a heavy dark horse. Not a lot of people's heard of him just because he's from Kentucky, but I think he could definitely hang up there with like a Nate Wiggins from Baltimore and all that stuff. Not a lot of people are going to hear about him, but he's going to hold his own.
Yeah, and with the way that the Rams are going with their defense, continue to keep building it. You're hitting on these picks, keep building. And honestly, they're late picks too, for the most part.
Yeah, we called it last year, man. Jared Verse defensive rookie of the defensive rookie of the year.
I don't understand, but yeah, continue to build. You got a decent front eight, so go ahead and continue to build that secondary.
100%. Let's move on to 28 through 32. We got the Lions at 28, Commanders at 29, the Bills at 30, and then we have a trade at 31, and the Eagles at 32. First off, let's just go ahead and go through 28 through 30. Then we got the Lions taking Kelvin Banks Jr., who I think is going to be an offensive guard.
Little shorter than
he's a little shorter than
what we were
and he
expecting.
doesn't really have Will Campbell he's held his own at offensive tackle, and he's played those guys. Him at Texas, he held his own, but he kind of got bullied around. I think if you move him to guard, have the right guy working with him, I think he'll be a good guy. Commanders, Jonah, sorry about this, Savinae.
That's better than what I could have done.
Yeah, offensive guard from Arizona. The Bills taking Matthew Golden, a wide receiver from Texas. And then we have the Chiefs trading their pick to the Patriots, who are a hungry team. They've already traded back and got the Saints to trade their pick away to the Saints. They got a Saints third. I think we had them taking the Saints third and a fourth next year from them. But they get up in the draft and they take Josh Cornley Jr., another offensive tackle for the Patriots at 31, who I think is another guy, if you can have the right coaching with him, he's there.
Yeah. And I mean, to touch on it, sucks to be the Chiefs fans. You're here at 10:45, about to go to bed. You got to work early tomorrow, and then you trade out of the first round. That's a long and tough night. But as a Patriots fan,
yeah.
and it's something we had talked about. You had asked me, you said, is this okay? With the Patriots taking 2 tackles, is this all right? Do you think that's good? Because we had talked about potentially the Patriots not taking Will Campbell.
Yeah.
But my response to that was, one's going to play right and one's going to play left.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's the offensive line is so bad in New England. And I understand wanting a receiver. We've wanted a receiver since Tom Brady came in 2001.
Right.
We've been wanting a receiver. But you have to be able to protect your franchise quarterback. Look at Joe Burrow is a perfect example. You have Jamar Chase. You have T. Higgins.
Yeah.
When Joe Burrow gets hurt because of the lack of offensive line, your season is done.
Yep.
It's
and 100%.
And this offensive line couldn't protect a standing dummy with no defensive line in front of them.
And
they
your
can't
play
do
was,
it.
And your play, I mean, I was watching a couple games. Your play was drop back, look at your first read. If you don't have your first read, your offensive line's going to crush you, so run for 2-3 yards.
Yes,
and get down.
run as far and as fast away from the defense as you can.
And it's like you have to address that, and I think by proving you want to trade back up into the first round, it doesn't matter if it's a late first. There's still plenty of talent in the late first. But proving that you want to trade back up into the first round, getting another offensive tackle, telling your players that are already in the locker room, hey, our quarterback's not getting touched, your defense, and telling your defensive guys, come chase our quarterback because we want these guys to, get some reps. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We got to get, even though he's a late first, he's going to need some reps.
And I mean, you have Cole Strange switched to center towards the end of the year, and he played very well. Michael Winu has had to play right tackle, and that is not where he was drafted. He was an offensive guard, and Michael Winu, when he was able to play guard, was a top 2 guard in the league.
Yeah, you move him back to guard.
So when he can go back to playing guard, we'll be fine. You have a couple of the guys from last year. I believe you drafted a guard.
Yeah, you could get Gray Zabel from like in the second round, or maybe the second, or maybe even the third round.
There's options. You can easily get somebody to play guard. It is not as easy to get someone to play left or right tackle. I think Will Campbell would probably play left because that dude was a beast there, and then you would have Cornerly Jr. playing the right. But you have to get this addressed, and you have to get it now. Drake May is 20, and if you want him to be around for the next 20 years, you have to protect him. He is getting crushed. He had 2 concussions last year. 2.
Not good.
You cannot have that.
Nah, especially at his age.
No. 20 years old,
But
2
then-
concussions first season.
And the thing is, though, getting these 2 tackles, like you said, you move Owenu into guard. You have Strange at center. You still have a little empty hole at left guard. There's always a 4th or 5th round draft pick that you can get that if you stick in that position the whole season, he's going to be a starting guard. You know what I mean? So, but moving on to pick 32 with the Eagles, we got them taking Donovan Azeru. Boston College edge. I didn't see much on him. That must have been you that put him in there.
Yeah, I did. He's not a bad player. He's coming up. Like he's boosting up the rankings. And as the Eagles, you just lost edge.
Josh Sweat, you lost.
You need to replace it. And you don't need... This isn't somebody that's going to come in and be day one just dominant. This is a project player. But again, I am of a guy that when I look at talent, I like someone that's pretty raw so I can develop them how I want them to be.
Yeah.
But
they're good at that.
Yeah, and when you go into a job, it's good to have people with experience, yes, because they somewhat know what they're doing. But if it's a new system and a new scheme, it's a lot easier to take someone who knows nothing than someone who knows past work. It's just that's a fact in everyday life. So when you can get someone that's raw talent and bring them into a scheme and let them learn and develop that scheme, you're going to get the exact type of player you're looking for.
And they did that with Milton Williams. You know what I mean? Then all of a sudden, then he just got paid an absolute bag. You know what I mean? So
what up, New England? Shout out Bags.
Yeah,
Shoot, I'll go play defensive tackle.
Right. So I mean, they're good at developing their defensive guys. They got the right coaches there. So I think you'll definitely end up hearing his name at some point if he gets drafted to the Eagles. You know what I mean? Especially in the first round. But that is our final mock draft. I think we kind of talked on most of the players pretty much. We said we were going to alternate, or kind of fly through the last 17 of the draft picks, but we kind of talked on most of them about what they bring to the table a little bit.
Yeah.
So we hope you guys enjoyed that little rant on our players, because we actually have been doing a lot of film and a lot of at least looking at mock drafts of other people's, like
mock
ESPN
drafts, stats.
Yeah.
Just like, it's good to look at other mocks to get an understanding of where the majority thinks that people are going to go, but we also do our own research. We know that the people really like mock drafts, and maybe next year we'll do even more of them in the future than just 3. It's kind of a test out for us. Our very first year, which we're almost coming up on a year,
yeah,
we did one.
Year, yep.
We did 1 mock draft, and it did well. This year, we've done 2 on to our 3rd, but past 2 mock drafts did well. So when people continue to see that, we're going to put in the effort for a mock draft. We don't want to give you some spiel or a copy and paste.
As I said, we're not going to go to Mel Kiper's draft and be like, oh, yeah, Mel Kiper and Field Yates had this, and this happening today, so we're going to put that in ours as well. No, we just kind of, like you said, we do our studying. We kind of just play around a little bit. These trades, I could see it happening, but these trades, we kind of just piece them together, us two together as well, with the Patriots. Maybe next time we could do a little bit more trades, but there could definitely be some trades in real life on Thursday.
And when we come back, we're going to record Friday, so the draft will probably still be going on while we're in the middle of it.
Yeah.
But we're going to be giving you our reactions to these as well. We love giving you our mocks, and we love reacting to what happens real time.
Right.
I think this is, honestly, with our teams kind of being trash, this is one of our favorite points of the year, because how can we rebuild, and what's our reaction to the player that we're getting?
Right.
Last year was Drake May. Thank God.
Yep. Same here. God. We had 2 first rounds last year. Had Rome Dunze and had Caleb Williams. Both of our teams got rebuilt last year. So definitely a big time for us. But we appreciate all the support, like Colton said, on all this stuff. We make videos going towards your guys' support, whatever you guys like to watch. We just kind of make videos to that audience. You know what I mean? So let us know down in the comments what you guys think of what our final mock draft looked like, and what your opinions on it. But we appreciate all the support, and we'll talk to you guys next week.
See ya.